What if the very thing that's breaking you right now is actually the thing that will make you rich? Think about it. That failed business, that job you lost, that bank account sitting on empty. What if these weren't the end of your story, but the beginning of something far greater? Most people run from pain. Most people fear crisis. But the ultra-successful, they look at crisis and say, thank you. Because hidden in every breakdown is a breakthrough. And those who win in life are the ones who can spot the seed of opportunity inside the fire of failure. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. If you're broke, scared, tired, and thinking about giving up, I've been there. But what changed my life wasn't a lottery ticket or a lucky break. It was a shift in perspective. And that shift came from a single idea I found in a book that changed everything for me. Trump 101, The Way to Success. The chapter was called See Challenges as Opportunities. It taught me how to stop cursing the crisis and start cashing in on it. So let me ask you this. What if the worst thing you're facing right now is actually the opportunity you've been waiting for your whole life? Part 1. Understanding the crisis mindset. We've all been there. You're staring at your phone, watching the last few dollars in your bank account disappear. Rent is due. Your credit card's maxed. You're doing the math in your head, hoping your anxiety is wrong. And then someone comes along and says, see this as an opportunity. It feels like a joke, doesn't it? But here's the brutal truth. The way you think about that crisis will determine if you stay stuck in it or rise from it. Donald Trump, in Trump 101, The Way to Success, shares a lesson that seems almost too simple to believe. See challenges as opportunities. It's not a motivational poster. It's a mindset shift, a powerful, financially life-saving one. Let me explain. Crisis doesn't kill you. Your reaction to it does. When a financial crisis hits, most people freeze. They panic. They blame the government, their boss, their luck, their family. They tighten up emotionally and mentally. And that's where the damage really begins. Not in their wallet, but in their mindset. Because when your brain goes into panic mode, it stops seeing options. It stops seeing patterns. It stops asking, what can I do right now? And starts screaming, why is this happening to me? But the millionaires, the survivors, the builders, they don't ask, why me? They ask, what's hidden here that others can't see? Where's the value in this chaos? How can I make this situation work for me? Trump used this lens during times most people gave up. Recessions? He bought real estate. Public backlash? He doubled down on personal branding. When the market screamed fear, he whispered fortune. The key wasn't that he never faced problems. He faced more than most. The difference? He trained his mind to spot opportunity inside the obstacle. Let me tell you a personal story. 5 years ago, I hit rock bottom. My YouTube channel was dying. My side hustles failed. And just when I thought I couldn't take another blow, I got hit with a medical bill that wiped out the little savings I had. I was done, depressed, ready to quit. But I remembered the line from Trump 101, see challenges as opportunities. And I asked myself, if this was a gift, what would it be teaching me? I stopped resisting and started listening. That moment forced me to reevaluate everything. I cut unnecessary expenses. I sold things I didn't need. I focused only on building skills that paid fast. Video editing, storytelling, content strategy. That season of crisis became the boot camp I never signed up for, but desperately needed. I didn't just survive, I grew. And a year later, my income was 3x what it had ever been. The subscribers came, the brand grew, and all because I stopped seeing the crisis as a curse. Here's what I want you to do right now. Stop asking why it's hard. Start asking what it's trying to teach you. Take 10 minutes. List everything that feels like it's falling apart. Your finances, your relationships, your confidence. Now ask, What could I learn here? What's one skill I could develop in this season? What's the one opportunity that's being forced on me, but I've been avoiding? And don't just think, write it down. Because clarity is the first step to opportunity. Now let me ask you something. What if the problem you're avoiding today is actually the exact mission that will make you unbreakable tomorrow? Part 2. Turning crisis into financial leverage. Let's be brutally honest. Most people waste their pain. They go through hardship, financial failure, job loss, broken dreams, and all they walk away with is bitterness. But the financially free, the self-made, the top 1%, they don't waste their pain. They leverage it. If part 1 was about seeing the opportunity, part 2 is about using it, turning your crisis into a catalyst for wealth. That's the real game. And yes, it's possible for you. Why crisis creates the best investment conditions. Donald Trump wrote in Trump 101, "The worst times often produce the best deals." Think about that. In a crisis, everyone else is running away. But that's when prices are lowest. That's when competition is minimal. That's when no one is paying attention. And that's your edge. The problem is, most people wait for conditions to feel safe before they act. But safety is the enemy of leverage. Opportunity doesn't knock when you're ready. It knocks when you're scared. During economic recessions, the smart investors buy when others are panicking. That's how generational wealth is created. Let me give you a real-world example. In 2008, the housing market collapsed. People lost homes. Banks failed. The world was in chaos. But while the average family was drowning in fear, savvy investors were buying properties at 30, 40, even 60% below value. One of them? A friend of mine who was also broke, but had just enough saved to buy a rundown duplex that no one wanted. He fixed it up, rented both units out. Fast forward to today. That property has tripled in value and gives him $2,500 a month in passive income, all because he moved when others froze. Now, you may be thinking, but I don't have the money to invest. That's where the real leverage begins. Skill is the new currency. When you're broke, your greatest asset isn't cash. It's resourcefulness. It's your time, your energy, your ability to solve problems and bring value to people who need it. That's what I realized during my own crisis. I didn't have capital, but I had time. So I invested that time into mastering skills with market value. Video editing, copywriting, digital storytelling, brand strategy. I took every free course I could, watched hours of tutorials. Then I reached out to small business owners, offering to help with their content for free or cheap. That built my portfolio. That built relationships. And within 6 months, I had clients. Within a year, I had a business. You don't need money to get started. You need a decision. A decision to stop waiting. A decision to stop consuming and start creating. A decision to stop blaming and start building. The leverage formula you can use today. Here's a simple 3-step formula to turn your current crisis into financial leverage. 1. Identify a pain point you deeply understand. Maybe you've struggled with debt, with job loss, with low self-esteem. That pain isn't just yours, it belongs to millions, which means there's a market for it. 2. Learn a skill that solves that problem. You don't have to master 10 things, just pick one. Writing, design, coaching, marketing, AI tools, video editing. If it helps solve someone else's pain, it can make money. 3. Package your story plus your skill. Share your journey. Share your lessons. Whether on YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, or a blog. People pay attention to authenticity. And when they trust you, they hire you. They buy from you. They refer you. This is what Donald Trump meant when he said, "Don't just survive the storm. Build your castle in the middle of it." You might be in a storm right now, but storms are how champions are made. So ask yourself this: what skill could you start learning today that would let you turn your pain into profit 6 months from now? Part 3: how to train your mind to stay calm in chaos. Here's the truth. No one tells you the most dangerous thing in a financial crisis isn't losing money, it's losing your mind. Because once your mind breaks, once you give in to fear, hopelessness, and panic, then nothing else works. Your ideas dry up, your motivation vanishes, you stop trying, you stop believing, and that's when the real damage begins. But what if I told you staying calm under pressure isn't a personality trait? It's a trainable skill, and like any skill, it gets sharper the more you use it. Donald Trump wrote in Trump 101, "When you panic, you lose. When you stay focused, you win." It sounds simple, but in chaos, your brain is screaming for you to react. Your job is to respond, not react. So let me show you exactly how I trained my mind to stay calm, even when everything was falling apart. Step 1. Create your mental emergency kit. Just like we prepare for physical disasters with a first aid kit, you need a go-to plan for emotional and mental chaos. Here's what mine includes. A daily ritual that grounds me. For me, it's 10 minutes of silence every morning before checking my phone. For you, it might be journaling, prayer, breathwork, or walking in nature. It doesn't matter what it is, just that you do it every day, especially when chaos hits. A reset phrase. When fear starts to spiral, I say to myself, this is a test, not a threat. That phrase shifts my brain from panic to purpose. A list of past victories. I keep a simple list on my phone of every time I survived what I thought I couldn't. This reminds me, I've done hard things before, I can do them again. When you have a mental emergency kit, you stop being a victim of emotion. You become a manager of it. Step 2. Limit input, increase output. In a crisis, it's tempting to scroll endlessly through bad news, negative social media, or financial fears. But too much input creates paralysis. You can't move when your brain is overloaded with worst-case scenarios. So here's the shift. Reduce input, increase output. For every 30 minutes you consume content, spend 1 hour creating. Write, record, build, sell, offer value. Every time you take action, your brain regains control. Every time you produce, your mind gets stronger. It's hard to panic when you're busy solving problems. Step 3. Run toward the fire, not away. The most powerful thing I've ever learned from reading Trump 101 is this. If you want to stand out, run toward what others are running from. That applies to business, but it applies even more to your mindset. When life gets scary, most people run. They hide, they delay, they distract themselves. But the champions, they do the opposite. When I was broke, I started looking at my bank account every single morning, not to shame myself, but to remind myself, this is the scoreboard, and I can change it. When I was overwhelmed, I started calling the people I was avoiding, the clients I owed, the mentors I feared I disappointed. Every time I ran toward the thing I feared, I got stronger. And guess what? The fear shrank. Fear feeds on avoidance. It starves on action. The power of calm is rare. That's why it's so valuable. In today's world, where everyone is anxious, overstimulated, emotionally exhausted, the calmest person in the room becomes the most powerful. Because calm minds make clear decisions, and clear decisions build lasting wealth. If you want to be rich, not just in money, but in peace, you must train your nervous system to work for you, not against you. So ask yourself this: what would your life look like if chaos no longer controlled you, but empowered you instead? Part 4. Building a crisis-proof financial plan from scratch. You don't need a 6-figure income to feel financially safe. You need a system that protects you, especially when things fall apart. Because let's be honest, most people don't plan for crisis. They plan for comfort, they plan for growth, but they don't plan for disaster. And then when the disaster comes, job loss, medical bills, a bad investment, they collapse. Not because they're weak, but because they never built a structure strong enough to withstand the storm. Donald Trump wrote in Trump 101, "Expect problems and eat them for breakfast." The best way to do that? Build a financial plan so solid, it thrives under pressure. Here's how to do it from scratch, even if you're broke right now. Step 1. Set the right emergency mindset. Before we talk money, we talk mentality. If you're starting from zero or even below zero, your first mission is this. Shift from survival mode to strategy mode. Survival mode says, I hope I make it this month. Let me pay this off, then I'll think about saving. I just need one big break. But strategy mode says, how can I turn this small win into a system? What can I automate so I'm never caught off guard again? Even if I have $10, how can I give that $10 a job? The truth is, your first financial system starts with how you treat your smallest dollar. It's not how much you have, it's how intentional you are with it. Step 2, build the crisis-proof budget, 3-account system. You don't need 20 spreadsheets to manage your money. You need 3 simple accounts. I call it the crisis-proof triangle. 1. Survival account, 50%. This is your essentials: rent, food, transport, medicine. Non-negotiables. You automate this. You protect it. You don't touch it unless it's keeping you alive. 2. Opportunity account, 30%. This is the one most people ignore, and that's why they stay stuck. This account is for your future, even if you're struggling now. It funds skill-building courses, side hustle experiments, your first investment, a basic website or tool to offer your services. If you only save to survive, you'll never break the cycle. But if you save to leverage, you'll buy your freedom. 3. Stability buffer, 20%. This is your emergency fund. And yes, even if you're broke, you start building it. $5 a week, $1 a day, anything. This is the insurance that lets you sleep at night. Because when the tire blows out, the fridge breaks, or you lose a gig, you don't go back to zero. You stay calm, you stay moving. Because the chaos didn't catch you off guard. Step 3. Income defense. Diversify, don't depend. If the past few years taught us anything, it's this. One income stream is too close to none. And in Trump 101, Trump echoes the same idea. Control your income, don't let your income control you. That means, if you have a job, great. Keep it, but don't stop there. You build small, parallel streams. Freelance one skill you're good at. Sell something online, even one product. Start content creation to build long-term brand trust. Offer services based on your personal struggle, what you've overcome, others are trying to survive. Each new stream isn't just more money, it's more stability, more options, and options equal power. Step 4. Crisis rehearsal, the mental fire drill. This might sound strange, but it's powerful. Once a month, imagine a financial disaster. Ask yourself, if I lost my income today, what would I do in the first 48 hours? What assets, skills, or contacts could I activate right now? How long could I survive based on what I've built? This isn't fear-mongering, it's resilience training. And it makes sure that when the storm hits, you don't flinch, you execute, because you've already run the scenario. You've already built the muscle. You don't need to be rich to build a strong financial foundation. But if you build a strong foundation, you'll become rich, mentally, emotionally, and yes, eventually financially. And here's the truth. Crisis doesn't build character. It reveals it. But once it's revealed, you get to rebuild stronger. So let me leave you with this. If your life collapsed tomorrow, would your current habits be enough to catch you? Or would they bury you? Part 5. Using setbacks as branding fuel. How to build authority from adversity. Here's a truth most people never hear until it's too late. Your struggle is not a weakness, it's your brand. Read that again, because the moment you truly understand it, your entire life will shift. We've been taught to hide our pain, to clean it up, to look successful before we are successful. But in today's world, people don't connect with perfection. They connect with authenticity. They connect with someone who's been through hell and made it out stronger. In Trump 101, Donald Trump wrote, "People will follow you more when you've proven that you've taken hits and kept going. Your ability to tell your story is the bridge between your past and your prosperity. And when done right, your story becomes your strongest form of marketing." The power of a scarred but standing identity. I'll tell you something most influencers won't. People didn't start following me because I was making 6 figures. They followed me because I was honest about not making 6 figures. They followed me when I shared what it was like to have a broken laptop, a maxed out credit card, and an idea I refused to give up on. That's when the DMs started. That's when people began to say, "Hey, I see myself in you." Your pain gives you empathy. Your scars give you credibility. And when you begin sharing your setbacks, your rejections, your doubts, your failures, people don't see you as weak. They see you as real. And real is what sells. Real is what builds trust. Real is what creates a personal brand that outlasts trends, algorithms, or market dips. How to turn adversity into authority. A 3-step story framework. Let me give you the exact method I used to build a 6-figure business from the ashes of financial rock bottom. Every story you share, on YouTube, social media, in emails, or in interviews, should follow this format. 1. The breakdown. This is where you get real, vulnerable. What happened? What did you lose? What did it feel like? Make it visceral. Example. I had $273 in my account, and I still remember the feeling of pretending to laugh with my friends while secretly panicking about how I'd get home. 2. The shift. This is the moment where something changed. Not the external situation, yet, but your internal narrative. It could be a book, a question, a moment of silence, or a failure so big you had no choice but to wake up. Example. I remember reading a line from Trump 101, "See challenges as opportunities." And for the first time I asked myself, what if this mess is my message? Mucky. 3. The lesson. This is what gives your audience hope. This is where you show them what you learned and how they can use it too. The key here is not to boast, but to guide. Example. From that moment, I started posting 1 video a week about my financial journey. Not to show off, just to show up. And now, I teach people how to build from nothing. Because I was nothing. And I built something. This framework turns pain into purpose. It transforms shame into service. And it gives your story legs. The kind that walks straight into people's hearts. Where most people get this wrong, they wait until they're successful enough to tell their story. But here's the secret. Telling your story is what makes you successful. People don't want to hear from someone who's always been perfect. They want someone who's been through the dark and remembers what it felt like. Because that's who they trust to lead them through it. That's how you build a community. That's how you build a brand. That's how you create something unbreakable. You don't need millions of views to start. You need the courage to say, "This is where I am, this is what I've learned, and if it helps you, here it is." Because there's someone out there right now silently suffering through what you've already survived, and they don't need another guru. They need you. So let me ask you this. If you stopped hiding your story today, How many lives could you change tomorrow? Part 6. How to make this shift permanent. If you've made it this far in the video, I want you to hear this from me. You're not average. Because average people don't sit through lessons about mindset, money, and building from scratch. Average people stop at the first sign of pain. They scroll past discomfort. They look for a shortcut instead of a shift. But you stayed. And that tells me something powerful. You're ready. Ready to stop reacting and start building. Ready to stop blaming and start becoming. Ready to stop just surviving and start strategizing. Let me leave you with one final lesson from Trump 101 that has stayed with me for years. Success is never about avoiding problems. It's about facing them faster than anyone else. Most people spend their whole lives trying to avoid discomfort, but the self-made, the financially free, the emotionally strong, they move toward the discomfort. They seek it. They lean into it, because they know that's where the growth is. If you're broke, anxious, tired, behind on bills, or stuck in a loop of doubt, you don't need more motivation. You need to take one decisive action today. That's how the shift becomes permanent. Not with big speeches, not with someday, but with a bold, imperfect move. Now, here's what to do next. No excuses, just execution. I'm not going to give you 100 tasks, just 3. Pick one and commit to doing it within the next 24 hours. Yes, 24 hours. 1. Tell your story. Somewhere to someone. Record a 2-minute voice memo. Write a post. Send a message to a friend. Let the world know what you've been through and what you're learning. Your story becomes a mirror for someone else's transformation. 2. Start a skill stack. Google one free course. Sign up for one free trial. Choose one skill: copywriting, video editing, coaching, AI tools, communication, and commit to showing up for it daily. This is the seed that grows into your financial independence. 3. Build the triangle. Open 3 folders on your phone or 3 jars in your kitchen if you have to. Label them: survival, opportunity, stability. Every time money comes in, split it, even if it's $5. Start creating discipline from day one. These are small moves, but they're louder than any excuse you've ever made. The bigger picture. This is not just about you. This video, this process, it's not just about getting richer or more stable. It's about becoming someone who's impossible to break. Someone who builds wealth within, long before they build wealth out there. And if you do that, money will come. Opportunities will find you. The right people will be drawn to your energy. Because people follow conviction. They invest in resilience. They trust truth. And what you've just built inside this video, that's real. Now let's do something together. If this spoke to you, if this helped you see your struggle through a new lens, then don't let this be just another video. Let this be the moment your story changes. Here's what I want you to do right now. 1. Comment below. Tell me what challenge you're facing right now and how you're going to turn it into opportunity. I read every single one. 2. Share this video. Someone in your circle needs this. Don't assume they're okay. Send this to one person you care about. 3. Subscribe to the channel. Because this isn't the end, it's the beginning. I make videos to help people like you become unstoppable, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. This is the Raidespire community. We don't pretend, we transform, and you just took your first step. So let me leave you with one last question. When your future self looks back at this very moment, will it be the day everything changed, or just another day you let pass by? Your answer becomes your legacy. If something inside you shifted while watching this, don't let that shift fade away. Raidespire isn't just another channel. It's a home for those who've fallen, broken, doubted themselves, but chose to rise anyway. It's where truth is told, pain is honored, and change becomes possible. So if this message spoke to your struggle, your journey, your silent battles, subscribe to Raidespire. Not just to follow, but to belong. Because here, we don't chase success. We build it from the inside out. Comment below. Let your voice be heard. Your story matters more than you know, and your words may be the light someone else is searching for. And if this video meant something to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Let someone else feel what you just felt. You might be the reason they don't give up tonight. This is where transformation begins. This is Raidespire, and we're just getting started.